Yep.
Wow. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Our first business is our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Vice Chair, could you read our mission statement?
Marshall Public Schools. Let me start all over.
Okay.
The mission of Marshall Public Schools is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any additions? Hearing none, please vote. Aaron's not here. I marked him here, so. Hey, you know, actually, I asked if I should count him, and she said yes. Thank you. You always do. Public forum. Now is time. If anybody in the public would like to approach the board, now is your time.
You ladies are taking copious notes back there for a class?
And we'll move on to our consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. It is approved. Moving on to our financials.
Nothing really stuck out except for you'll see the amounts are a little higher than last month because we're into the school year, so we've got our food service, our transportation bills came in, and then capital outlay. Typically at the beginning of the year you'll see that amount higher because that's part of our lease payments for the tech support, for the tech one-on-one, and the retrofit lighting at the high school payment. So I ask for the approval of the $2,570,521.29.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote. It is approved. Any other information anybody would like to share with financials? Everything good? Any questions?
Everything's on track.
Board information. Did any board members have anything they'd like to bring up? Okay. Remember MSBA, sign up for MSBA. Administrator's report.
All right, I'll go through as I typically do and pull a couple of highlights from each of the reports, and hopefully you've had a chance to read through these. I find them informative and interesting every time that I do, so I hope you do as well. My report, we have ALICE training coming up this week on Wednesday following the noon dismissal. We're going to bring all staff in at I believe it's 1 o'clock and run them through a series of activities regarding the ALICE model and hopefully finish up about 3:30 that day. Also included information about the community input sessions that are scheduled on October 24th and November 7th at 6:30 p.m. at the High School Media Center. I believe postcards are going out this week. Tricia did a nice job of coordinating that. In Tiffany's report, she has information about something you've heard about for a number of years, the CEM, or Classroom Engagement Model, and also there's a link to a video in there. They're trying to, I shouldn't say trying, they're continuing their training and use of that in early childhood classrooms. And then Tiffany also had a variety of opportunities and events that either have taken place or are taking place. And she does a nice job of sort of laying all that out for us. In Darcy's report, she shared information regarding balanced literacy, which is something that we've really been focusing on at all of our grade levels, but we really need to have that foundation in place at Parkside so that we can build off that. And then she also shared information about what's happening at Parkside relative to PBIS, their focus on be responsible, be respectful, and be safe. And if you haven't been in their building lately, there's some pretty exciting things taking place with Passport and just ways of encouraging kids to do those three things: be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. So she shared some information about that. In Jim's report, he shared homecoming week activity information that took place at Westside, and also a little bit of information about some of the work that's being done relative to the interventions that they try to provide for students who might need a little extra assistance. Mary Kay's report, she shared information about 2 after-school opportunities and additional support for the middle school students, Project Success, and also Wednesday homework help, and some numbers were involved in that. And then also she shared information about something called Start With Hello that they did earlier this month. Really a way to help students connect with each other, and I think fits in well with the PBIS activities that happen here at the middle school. Brian's report for both the high school and Maytech, he shared career opportunities events that happened, that have happened for 10th and 11th grade students. I believe there was a Career Expo at SMSU and then another event over there as well. You probably saw some information about the mock car crash that was held on October 4th, and maybe our student school board members would want to comment about that. And then also Brian shared a variety of information about passing and failing grades and their 3-week grade checks that you might want to take a look at. Bruce Remy shared that we have strong fall activities participation numbers. I noticed that there's been what I would term a significant increase in tennis and in soccer. Soccer is maybe not surprising because we added a team this year with our varsity girls team, but still it's good to see those numbers going up, and I think all of the programs and activities were strong. He also shared some really interesting information, I thought, about the partnership, the opportunities that we have with facilities at SMSU and a variety of events that have been held there. So that was nice to see, and I think there were some things in there that I know I was not aware of. And he shared something pretty special. The Tiger Speech Team was recognized by the National Speech and Debate Association as being among the top 20% of schools nationwide, and they were also designated for membership in the what's called the 100 Club. So, excuse me, I think a pretty good recognition for the Tiger Speech Team. Jeremy shared information about data meetings that he's holding at each building level. And then he also shared just a little bit of information, and I think he's going to be here sometime in the near future to present at a board meeting. But we struggle to get parents on our parent advisory committees for the World's Best Workforce and our Achievement and Integration Plan. So we did something a little bit different this year where we invited, I think it was 10 to 20 parents from each of the learning levels or buildings to provide feedback to us on our World's Best Workforce Plan. Our principals put together just a short video saying, here's what we do. I'll use the example of Tiffany. Here's what we do to prepare all students for kindergarten. And then parents had an opportunity to give input on that, what they think is working well and what isn't. I believe that survey just went out late last week, and there's almost 30 parents who have responded to it. So that's a positive way for us to, I think, to get some input from our parents and increase our reach and communications with them. In her monthly report, Jackie shared that she is doing sort of something different with her monthly special education meetings, doing them more building-wide instead of district-wide, because when you do things building-wide, you're able to talk about, in her case, special education scenarios that maybe only pertain to elementary age students, which may may not be applicable to high school or vice versa. And also that she attended some finance training for special education lately and has some ideas that we might be able to use. And I know that she and I have also talked about some of those things. Beth's report, she shared information about the new teacher center work that's happening, what the training that she's involved in, and how she's bringing that into the work that she does with our new teachers and our professional learning communities. And she also wanted me to remind you that the Family Engagement Night will be held here on October 22nd from 5:30 to 7:30. So if you don't have that on your calendar, please do so. And Scott Vandermillen in his report shared that, and you may not know this, Community Services has hired a replacement for Pat Thomas, Thank you. Lesky, right? That's what I thought, but I didn't want to try to mess it up any worse than I would have. So she has been around for a while in the district and doing some work already, and looking forward to working with her on the ABE program. And then also Studio One with Alex back there in the back, and Dan Smith's class at the high school are using some new video production equipment that has, from what I've heard from Dan, been really helpful, and excited about the future with that. Ladies. Yeah, you're up now. Yep.
I can start. So the Marshall High School, first we had the 10th grade career expo at the SMSU. Then there was the picture retake. And we had the PPA Fall Leadership Conference at Granite Falls. After that, there's the ACT deadline. That was on the 28th. And the ACT test day is on the 27th, which is next week. Next Saturday, that is coming up of next week. And there was the homecoming dance. That was on October 5th. The talent show sign-up was on October 1st. The coronation was at 7 to 9 p.m. We had the mock crash day on October 4th. It was very emotional to watch, and a lot of kids did enjoy watching that. So we did talk about it if we have it like every year or every 4 years. That we had a lot of discussions about that, like in class. And there was the practice SAT for juniors. And for football, the C Squad, the freshmen played Lurvan at the SMSU. And we had the volleyball varsity match versus Worthington. We had our marching band, youth, and music play on the U.S. Bank Stadium. And for Maytech, we have a new principal named Chad Peterson. And there was a conference that was moved to October 2nd. It was originally on October 4th, but it clashed through the homecoming week. So that was changed. That's all I have for Maytech and high school.
I got middle school, and Lyon County Museum has a new program called Time Travelers. It's basically where kids learn about like history and like back in the days. Youth wrestling season starts in December. And then Big Buddies is a free program for youth ages 5 to 17. It connects youth to fun and exciting groups. It's basically teaching the younger generation how to work as a team and do things together. New lockers have been added to the middle school because a lot of students are attending the middle school this year. Marshall Hoops offer a great basketball program for boys in 3rd grade through 8th grade. And then Marshall Girls Basketball Association team selection starts on Saturday, October 27th. And then book fair starts October 8th and runs through October 15th. And then there is a conference night tonight. And the middle school got a new vice principal, not president. And his name is Mr. Thor.
So I had Parkside and Westside, and the Parkside, they had the Chip Shop fundraiser, and that started on September 19th, and on September 20th, Mr. Mo's Storytime classes started, and then on October 5th, there was a family night, and it went from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and October 9th, they had an open-door dental flu shot clinics, and that went through October 10th, and then they had the first day of Project Success, and that's just like an after-school program where they can do their work and then be rewarded with games afterwards. And then on October 12th, the first graders went and visited the iconic Little Red Schoolhouse at Westside. And then in Westside, they have a new principal this year. His name is Mr. Jim Gagner, and I just met with him and talked to him about like what he wanted to do for Westside, if there was any changes he wanted to make with whatever the previous principal did. And he said one of his main goals was to just have student achievement in a safe environment. And he again, like Mr. Monson talked about, was the balanced literacy approach, and he wanted to meet the students where they're at and then just see them grow or at least improve from where they started. And then he wanted them to love reading, and so then I asked him, you know, is he focusing on reading because reading is the best or something, or like, what about the other topics? And he said that that's like the core, and once they're good at reading or they enjoy reading, then they can just grow from there in every other subject. The 40 book challenge is still continuing this year, where they read 40 books and then they get prizes and go around the world on that map. And then this year they're starting book battles, where 2 teams read the same book, and then they go down to the librarian in the library, and she questions them about different things that are happening in the book, and then they win like, they don't really know what the prize will be, but they're gonna win some sort of initiative to do this. And then it's up to 4 team members, and they pick their teams, and then if nobody has a team, they can just talk to a teacher, and then they'll get put on a team. And then Tiger Tokens, he emphasized that that was part of PBIS, and that was just going to like push the students to show their tiger traits, and then they get the prize for, I think at the end of the week or the end of month or something, they pull one out of a box, and then they get a special chair that the students sit on during class, and it's just a wheelie chair.
Any questions, board?
Thanks, John. Just a couple of things to share, some highlights. We received a SHIP grant. You guys approved it in the consent agenda. For $928, we were able to buy some rain jackets for our crossing guards. Lovely weather we've had. And then we're also putting up some no left turn signs at Parkside, or at Westside, in the parking lot during the beginning and the end of the day to help with congestion. And then MMU, we received the rebate check back from them for the retrofit lighting, which was almost $42,000, and that helps to offset the expense that went into that, which is awesome. And then just another highlight, our dental rates are going to be able to remain the same. We're a self-insured plan, and we've got a good balance, so we didn't have to increase the rates at all.
Moving on to our discussion items, this will be the first reading of policies 701 through 705. Anybody have any questions? Moving on to our action items, the first one is approval of site continuous improvement plans for this year and next. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
It's open for discussion.
So just a couple things. I know that all of you, or most of you, are familiar with these. They are a part of our QComp plan. I feel like our staff and administration does a really nice job of putting them together, coming up with relevant goals and things that will drive what we do. They are focused on, obviously, continuous improvement. They tend to contain goals that relate to reading, math, the achievement gap, and in some cases, things that are relevant to the site. It might be graduation rate, or we've seen attendance and things like that. But again, I think our administration and site leadership teams do a nice job of putting these together, and I believe contractually we need to have these considered and hopefully approved at this meeting. I can try to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions, board? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. And they are approved. Approval of this to set a special school board meeting date of November 7th. Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It's open for discussion.
This is, the special meeting is being scheduled sort of as part of the community input sessions that we have on October 24th and November 7th. So Pat Overham from ICS is going to be here on November 7th to help us conduct whatever the community input session. He'll be here October 24th also. He'll be meeting on the 24th with our administrators and district leadership team in the afternoon, and all of you get the opportunity to listen to input from others, but this will also be your chance to sort of share your input, perspective, ideas, concerns, thoughts that you might have regarding long-range facilities with Pat, and he'll use all of that input from the meetings that he's already held with different stakeholders in the community, meeting with the admin, the community input sessions, and this input from the special school board meeting on the 7th, and hopefully give us some good usable information.
So do we still have the meeting on the 5th?
Yes. Correct. I'll keep you guys busy.
We canvass election results at night then too? We typically have to schedule a special meeting for that, or?
Election being the 6th, we can canvass the votes.
We have to allow so many days before.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's right. I want to say it's that. We can check on that.
Okay.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Please vote. And we do have another meeting. Anything else, board members? All right, thank you very much. Meeting's over. Thank you, ladies.